What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's most anticipated movies of 2025. This will look at the films that I find exciting that are coming up in the year 2025. As always, if you like what you see, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button. So this 2025 should be a really good year after the strikes, after everything that's gone wrong in Hollywood. This should be pretty banger of a year. There's a lot of good movies coming out. I actually think it will be better than 2024, which is already a good year, as you saw from my list. It's a year that is garnering some steam with some really cool and really collective movies from directors and so on and so forth. So as I always do, as I always say, there will be about 5 honorable mentions, the films that just didn't make my top 10, and then I'll show you my top 10, or I'll tell you my top 10 of my most anticipated of 2025. So I have to admit, I did record this earlier, but I forgot about one movie, so that we'll talk about that later on. But the movies I'm going to talk about, the honorable mentions, are films like, of course, Claire and the Sun, which is Taika Waititi's new movie. I think it has something to do with a robot. I think Elle Fanning or something like that's in it. We of course have, this is kind of a surprise because I'm more anticipating other films than this movie, but it's Avatar Fire and Ash. It doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to it. It's a pretty stacked year, to be fairly honest. I think it'll be a banger. I think it'll be another Oscar play for visual effects and whatever it does. Another one is The Running Man, Edgar Wright's, of course, remake of the Stephen King story. Supposed to be more faithful, has Glenn Powell. I'm really looking forward to it. And just one more, Naked Gun, the Liam Neeson remake that's being directed by Akiva Schaffer. He's funny. Liam Neeson's funny. He's kind of like Leslie Nielsen, where he did a lot of dramatic stuff, but he's actually really funny, to be fair. So I don't know how that movie's going to play out, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun if that movie comes out this year, but I'm looking forward to that. So those are some honorable mentions. Those are movies I'm looking forward to. And so to get into my top 10, to start it out with number 10, we have Thunderbolts. It's the new Marvel movie. It's directed by Jake Schreier. It's a movie that I think it's supposed to be good from what I hear. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun. Whether it is a lot of fun, it remains to be seen. This movie just appears to be a great kind of contemporary piece to something like The Suicide Squad, a movie that James Gunn directed. That was fantastic. I'm really hoping that they lean into that, where we know it's not going to be R-rated, but they lean into like that craziness, that zaniness that is the anti-heroes, the villains that we've seen throughout the Marvel universe. And for some reason, I think this movie could be a lot of fun. I think it could be really entertaining. And so therefore, the trailer looked good. And Thunderbolts should be pretty fun. So hopefully we'll see when it comes out in May. But there's number 10, which is Thunderbolts. And number 9, we have James Gunn's Superman. The trailer just released. It looks gorgeous. It looks like a James Gunn movie. It looks like it has a lot of passion. It has crypto in it. It has Guy Gardner in it. It looks like Martian Manhunter's in it. I almost said Marvin the Martian. It's just a movie that looks like it's going to be really kind of in the pathos and ethos of the Superman lore. David Cornsweet, and of course, Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor. This movie looks like it's going to be really good. Plus, it was filmed in my home state of Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio, just to be aware. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Guardian Stadium be part of a set piece. But yes, James Gunn really hasn't steered us wrong yet in a superhero movie, and I don't think this is going to be one that falters, unlike Superman Returns or Man of Steel, or, whatever it is. So Superman is at number 9, and that leads me to number 8, which is, so if Mike Flanagan is doing a movie, I'm all about it. Life of Chuck, his new movie, I think the first one he's done since Dr. Sleep. Of course, he did a bunch of TV series. This is another Stephen King adaptation. It has Tom Hiddleston and a bunch of other people in it. I'm really looking forward to this movie. I heard it's really good. I heard it's, a really good winner for Mike Flanagan and, of course, Tom Hiddleston. But we'll see when it comes out. I can't remember exactly when it comes out, but I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. And so there you go. It's a Stephen King adaptation with Mike Flanagan's name attached to it. So there you go. So number 8 is, of course, The Life of Chuck, which is number 7, which is. So the trailer for F1 came out quite a few months ago. Has Brad Pitt and some other people in it. It looks like a $300 million movie, as it's been reported to be costing. It's directed by Joseph Kosinski, who, of course, did Top Gun Maverick. This is a action person's dream. If it's as ambitious as Top Gun Maverick was when it comes to the action and the level of detail, I'm sure they're going to use drones. I'm sure they're going to use close-up shots. I'm sure there's some visual work, but it was filmed, of course, in Daytona, I believe. It looks like a pure adrenaline rush, and I think it's going to be a fun movie. You know, Apple put $300 million into the movie, so I mean, whether it's going to be good, I don't know. But Joseph Kosinski proves he can direct action. I mean, he's not a terrible director, and he's proved to Top Gun Maverick. So F1's number 7 on my list. That's how I kind of feel, which leads me into number 6, which is okay. So 28 Years Later is a movie that is of a franchise that I wasn't a huge fan of when I first saw it. You know, 28 Days Later, 28 Months Later, I've grown to love those movies. I think they're ambitious. I think the new one was filmed on an iPhone 15 Plus, so I know you can't really see it, but my phone's an i15 Pro Plus or whatever it is. And yeah, I mean, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are back. I love Alex Garland. I think Danny Boyle is a very talented director. Could be really good. It could be really bad. It's coming out, I think, in the summer or the fall or whatever, and it's like one of the best trailers I've seen in the last year. And yeah, it should be good. It brings back Cillian Murphy. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's in this as well. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if it's any good. And so therefore, 28 Days Later is number 6 on my list, and number 5 is. So as of right now, Paul Thomas Anderson's new film with Leonardo DiCaprio is called The Battle of Baccatin Cross. I don't know much about this movie. It sounds like a war movie or something of that nature, but Leonardo DiCaprio, Paul Thomas Anderson, hopefully doesn't go down the route of like, you know, Inherent Vice or The Master, which I admit I'm not a huge fan of. I hope it leans more into like, you know, what Paul Thomas Anderson is known for doing, like There Will Be Blood or Magnolia. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what Paul Thomas Anderson has up his sleeves. I wasn't a huge fan of Licorice Pizza, but I can get on board anytime Paul Thomas Anderson does a movie, and you have these two pairings, and I'm all on board. So we'll see how that movie plays out. There's no trailer. There's some stills, but there's nothing really kind of to show at the moment. So the Battle of Baccatin Cross, as it's called right now, is what I'm looking forward to with Paul Thomas Anderson. Hopefully it comes out this year. Which leads us into number 4, which is, so color me crazy or color me like surprised that I would put a movie like Wicked Part 2 or Wicked for Good in my top 10 most anticipated. Because if I had told you a year ago that Wicked, the first part, would be in my top 10 of the year for 2024, I would have laughed at you. Because this is a movie that completely took me by surprise. It was a movie where the musical I had no interest in. I thought maybe the songs would be terrible. But John M. Chu and Cynthia Erivo, Ariel Grande, and the rest of the cast put on a remarkable movie, a remarkable set-piece delivery movie. The music's amazing. I heard the second half is not as amazing as the first half, but I still believe that it's going to deliver. This might be a scenario with like Lord of the Rings where the second half kind of completes the whole and it wins a Best Picture nomination or a Best Picture Oscar. So as long as it sticks to landing, as long as the songs are catchy and the 2 new songs are catchy, I'm looking forward to it. So Wicked Part 2 comes out in November, a year after the first part, and it should be complete awesomeness, I hope. At least it will be pretty. At least look like that. So I expect good things. So with that said, number 4 is Wicked Part 2, which leads me to number 3, which is... So I told you earlier that there was a movie that I forgot, and I actually had recorded this earlier, so I'm re-recording. Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Tale is the movie I forgot about. I love Glass Onion. I love the original Knives Out. I think they're 2 of the best mystery movies when it comes to like sleuthing and stuff like that I've seen in a long time, to be fairly honest. This is a movie that has like Thomas Hayden Church. It has like Glenn Close. It has Kaylee Spaney. It has, of course, Daniel Craig back as Benoit Blanc. And I don't know anything about it, which is good. I know it's directed by Rian Johnson. It's part of his trilogy capper for Netflix. I'm sure there'll be more movies as long as it's successful. And Wake Up Dead Man is something I think will come out in the fall, maybe November, and I am truly on board, even not knowing anything about it. It's an interesting title like Glass Onion, but I'm sure the title will have some suggestion in the movie like Glass Onion did, and I think it will be amazing. So I'm looking forward to Wake Up Dead Man. I think Rian Johnson will get another winner here, and I think it'll be another great movie for the year. So number 3 is Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Tale, and that leads into number 2, which is... So, all right, so I have to say it. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was a phenomenon in my list of most anticipated movies for like 5 years. The COVID happened, the pushbacks happened, everything happened to this movie. I love Dead Reckoning. I think it's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to the final Reckoning, which of course had a trailer put out. Of course, it's supposedly Tom Cruise's last movie. The trailer looks amazing. Set pieces look amazing. He's a crazy man for doing those stunts, so he's on that plane. that's flipping around. And he's underwater doing, you know, the free diving and stuff like that. Tom Cruise is, but it's Christopher McQuarrie coming back. It's the cast from the first movie, from Dead Reckoning, coming back. I can't wait for this movie. It comes out in May. It's top of my list for a reason, or at least second on my list for a reason. But it's a movie that I'm really anticipating. I think it'll be fantastic. So it's the kind of conclusion to apparently Ethan Hunt's story, but we'll see, quote unquote, we'll see. So Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is at my number 2 spot. But in my number 1 spot is a movie that hopefully gets a theatrical release. Let's talk about it. So number 1 is, of course, Predator: Badlands. Prey was a movie that got short-shrifted by Hulu. Was not put in theaters like it should have been. It's a fantastic Predator sequel or prequel, however you want to put it. Gritty. It feels authentic. It feels like there is love put in that movie. It's just an all-around fantastic Predator movie, you know, dealing with like the back in the time of I think the Civil War or the war or whatever, Revolutionary War, whatever it is. But this Predator: Badlands, I know nothing about, but I heard some amazing things that it could possibly be about. And I know Elle Fanning's in this movie, and no, I don't know anybody else is in this movie, but Dan Trachtenberg coming back doing a movie that's a Predator movie. If it's as good as Prey, it'll be my top 10 of the year, I'm sure. But for the time being, it's the movie I'm most looking forward to. It's the movie I'm most excited for. So we'll see how Predator: Badlands plays out. It probably comes out in August or something like that. So we'll see where that plays out. But yeah, Predator: Badlands is my most anticipated movie of 2025, which is surprising because Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning is knocking on that door. So there you go. That is my top 10 movies I'm most anticipated for 2025. Do realize that there are movies that I don't know about yet. They're coming from directors. This happens every year where I get to the end of the year and half these movies that are my most anticipated are not the movies that I end up putting in my top 10 just for reasons, because there are much better movies that come out. Some of these movies might be disappointing, but this should be a pretty good year for 2025. It should have some really good bangers unless a strike happens or some major catastrophe happens. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun time at the theater. It's going to be, you know, a relief and a stress relief through the years we're going to have, you know, for a while. And yeah, 2025 should hopefully have some great films. Whether it has movies like Flow or Everything Everywhere All at Once remains to be seen, but for the time being, these are great films I'm looking forward to. So there you go. But with that said, thank you so much, guys, for checking out my video for the most anticipated movies of 2025. Comments below, what is your most anticipated movie of 2025? Do you have a top 10? Do you have a movie that you're looking forward to from this list? What is your favorite? What is your most anticipated movie for 2025? So let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.